Okay, everyone. Good to see Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Okay, a nice combination of things here. Not too many TikToks, but I see some in there. Pinterest, yes, Alicia. All right. Also, by show of hands, so we are in our third week, and for those of you, which would mean hopefully all of you, you are in it deep in the LMS. By show of hands, how many of you have completed your GoDaddy electives? 2 electives, 1 elective, any electives? All right, some of you. Okay, good to see that, good. That is a requirement, that's a homework requirement, so please make sure you guys get into the LMS and check them out. I would highly recommend completing all of them because they are invaluable information, but for this program, we definitely require that you complete 2. Also, this is the week that you all are supposed to have completed 2 Google Primer electives. So by a show of hands, can I see how many of you, and just be honest, we're the BBB here. How many of you completed at least 1 Google Primer?
1.
All right. Same folks that have completed the GoDaddy electives. All right. So I just dropped a link in the chat, you guys, for the Google Primer. Check it out. They are bite-sized lessons to better your business. They're incredible, quick. I'm talking 5-minute sessions. So definitely do it. Once you get in, you'll get hooked and you'll start completing a ton of other ones. But the reason why we are here tonight, the main reason, is we have our social media 101 and 202 with our GoDaddy experts on the call. I could not be more excited about class tonight. We have a powerhouse in the house tonight of GoDaddy experts who are also veterans here for our program, Empower program. They've presented for us before, and I'm super happy to have them back. They are a trifecta of talent, a triangle of thought leadership, a hat trick of heart-pumping social media goodness. And some of my favorite GoDaddy peeps, we have Morgan Nielsen, Jeffrey Brown, and Alexia Robinson on the call tonight to share with you their expertise on all things social media marketing. So they're going to be kind of working as a team tonight to conduct this presentation. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go. You can DM me with any other questions, and of course, I'll be on later tonight. One note, I will be out on Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday. As most of you know, I'm getting married this weekend, so I will be out. So I'm pretty excited about that. And my family's already starting to fly in, and so this is my last couple hours before I have a week off. So I'm pretty excited about that. And next time I see y'all, I will be a Mrs., but I'm not changing my last name, even though her last name is Honey, and I think Samantha Honey has a really nice ring to it. But I'll let her keep that last name to herself because it's so cool. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and thank you everyone. It's gonna be a good weekend. It's gonna be a good time. So I'll share my pictures with everyone next week. But good news is we have Kimberly Rowland, our VP of Innovations, that all of you have met on the call. She is going to be hosting, and Alex will also be with you as well. So I'm leaving you in amazing hands. So before I just keep rambling on and on and on, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to our amazing GoDaddy team. If you would like to come off of mute and introduce yourselves and go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, no, thank you, everyone. We are so excited to be here with all of y'all tonight. Like Samantha said, my name is Jeffrey Brown. I'm a marketing manager at GoDaddy, specifically on the content creation and education team. So doing webinars like this, in-person events, speaking on panels, different things like that whenever it comes to education at GoDaddy, usually that is my team. So excited to be here with all of you tonight. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat box. That's what the 3 of us are here for. We're really pumped to be with y'all, and whoever wants to introduce themselves next.
I'll take it next. Hi, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Alexia Robinson, And here at GoDaddy, I work on our customer research team. And so what that really means is I spend a lot of my time getting to know and better understand our customers and think through a lot about how can we best communicate with them to get our message across and really best suit their needs. And ultimately, the top question that guides pretty much all of my work here is, what can we do to better serve our customers and be the true partner that they need?
All right, and I am Morgan. I lead our services team. So within GoDaddy, we have a suite of products and services that are basically like do it for you services. So if you're like, oof, I need help with doing my social media, or I need help building my website, and you want us to just do it for you, then that's what my team is responsible for. So that might be a next step after you figure out how to do it on your own a little bit. And then once you get the groove, my team kind of comes in and helps keep things going for you. So we're always looking to see how we can best represent y'all as entrepreneurs online, find new different ways to market to your audiences. We work with so many different types of businesses. So a lot of this deck is built around the tips and tricks my team uses every day to do work for entrepreneurs just like you. So thank you for showing up. This will be the most valuable for you this next 2 hours if we all kind of stay with it and engaged and participatory. So ask your questions when they come to mind. And since there's 3 of us, we'll try to be pretty good about answering them as they come. So with that, I'll kick it back over to Jeffrey to warm us up.
Yes, I was looking for my mute button. I was like, oh, I don't want to be on mute again. It happens still to this day. No, y'all, we're sincerely really pumped to be here. And I'm excited about this session, but also being along with some of my favorite people at GoDaddy. And like Samantha said, like some powerhouses as well. So our agenda, we wanted to break it down in ways that when you leave this webinar, that you have something tangible to leave with. We want to make sure that we're not just like, all right, we're breezing through this. You got your information, you're good, you're out. No, that's not what GoDaddy does. That's not how we work with our customers, and that's not how we work with the BBB. So we're first going to go over some warm-up questions. Then after that, we're going to go over how to establish some brand basics. I love this section. I'm really pumped about this because in order for you to have a successful online marketing strategy, you've got to establish those brand basics. You're like, oh, we've been through this, but it doesn't hurt to go through this again, but also to make sure that maybe you might be brushing up your brand. Maybe you're in the process of rebranding. So make sure that you're especially paying attention to this section. After that, we're going to go over how to get it set up on your social media pages. How many of us have 1 to 2 or maybe 3 social media pages? That can be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Let me know in the chat box, raise your hand, and let us know how many platforms you're on, and also let us know the platforms that you're on as well. So we want you to get thinking about that as well. After that, we're going to go over how to cultivate your community. Once you're on social media, once you're engaging with your customers, you want to make sure you're building a community around your brand, because without a community, you're just another business online. You want to make sure you're engaging with your customers. You want to make sure you're using user-generated content, and also checking off different things that you can be doing with your customers as well. Maybe that's in-person events. Maybe that's retail trunk shows. Maybe that's reels and lives. You've got to be able to cultivate that community to be able to unlock new growth. And I love this part as well, because when you're unlocking new growth, especially when it comes to online marketing, and especially when it's changing so much, you're going to have an upper hand. So definitely making sure that you know how to unlock that new growth, how to engage with those customers, but also knowing that audience. That's going to come in handy here too. Measure your results. We're not going to just let you leave here without getting the basics, getting the good foundations, learning how to engage and cultivate that community. We also want to make sure that you know how to measure those results. What are those results? What do those metrics look like for you, your customers, and specifically your business? Because no business is the same. Even if you're 2 restaurants, you have different types of customers. You have different ways that you engage them. So you also want to make sure that you're looking at your results a little bit differently too. And then last but not least, we're going to get you started on an action plan. Like I said, at GoDaddy, we don't want you to walk away from this and not have anything that you can take away with you from. Whether you're starting on it tonight, you're doing it this weekend, or even next week. We want to make sure that you're leaving this with not only knowledge, but things that can help you not only within the next week and month, but also throughout the rest of the year. And maybe you can replicate this for 2023 as well. All right. So what kind of businesses do you have? These are our warm-up questions. I love a good icebreaker. You know, we can't do a trust fall. I wish we could. But let us know in the chat box, what kind of business do you have?
All right. Seeing very varied
Yes,
businesses
succulent
across the board
gifts.
here. We got some
At first I
custom home
thought that said
building.
Beyonce. I was like, wait, who works for Beyonce? I was like, wait a minute.
All the food stuff is catching my eye. Hot sauce, cookies.
Right?
I'm
Like
hungry.
yes, like the fry bread. I haven't eaten dinner and I'm just like, all right, what am I gonna make? Oh,
Morgan,
herbal tea.
Morgan, you're just hungry. That's all.
Yes, I know it's getting late here.
Right? Tutoring. Yes.
Yes, the
You know,
fried bread is really intriguing me.
I know I
Oh.
was recently in Belize and they had these fry jacks and it was just like this fried bread, but it was just humongous, as big as my face. But it was just so good. Beauty salon. I do need to go get my head shaved here shortly. French toast is a little bit different, I feel like. Elephant ears, okay. Oh, it's an Arizona thing. Oh, snap, okay. Hair spa, love this. Wash massage for seniors and moms who are not able to because of disability or no time. Oh, okay. Yes. All right, so now that you keep on answering these, I love all of these. This is awesome. Y'all are truly amazing. So keep on sharing what businesses you are, maybe even share where you're from as well. I want us to also use this chance to network too. This is a great part about this as well. I just devoured some of that hot sauce. Oh my gosh. Morgan, look what you're doing. All right, now we saw, I think, one business's purpose, and it was a salon and spa where they do massages for, I think it was grandmothers and moms who maybe have disabilities or who don't have any time. So now that you've shared your business, we now want to know your purpose. What's your little oomph into it? How do you make that special ignition into your community? What sets you apart from the rest? Let us know in the chat box. San Diego, okay. Enriching the lives of dogs so they bring happiness to other humans. My business is a work in progress. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Promote the construction, advocacy for female empowerment. I love all of these, yes. Wow. Yes. Spicy products to the world. I love spicy food. As we're still like over here talking about food and it's a little bit late. Now, keep on sharing your purposes. I know they're taking a little bit more time to actually type out, but keep on sharing those. And I love hearing the reasons why behind your business as well. We all do. So now that you've shared your business, you shared your purpose behind your business, I want us to figure out, where we are right now. Somebody said my business is in progress. I'm in progress. We're all in progress. So I want us to kind of just gauge here, let us know in the chat box here as well. Like we said, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So let us know where you are right now. Are you at a 1, where you have a vision or a newly established business? Maybe you're a 3. You're new to online marketing and trying to get used to it. Or maybe you're a 5. You're comfortable with online marketing and you're just looking for ways to grow. Whoa, some 4s, some 3s, some 5s, 1s. Love to see that as well. Living at full-time 3. Okay, hard stop there. A 1.3. All right, Anita. Okay. Our prep 3, a 1. I love all this.
With this diversity of experiences here, you can really truly lean into one another and learn from each other as well.
Yeah, so you 5s, if you have any hot tips to share as we go through this, feel free to to drop it in the chat too.
Oh my God, yes. All of us sharing our knowledge, fives, help them out. And maybe, if you're just establishing your business as well, maybe you're learning something new too. I love this. Yes. Look at all of us helping each other. Yes, fives. If you have any information, any little tidbits of knowledge that you want to sprinkle in there, go for it. And on top of that, when you're rating your, or like where you're trying to figure out where you are, where you're a 1, you're a 3, you're a 5, we also want y'all to think about this as we go through this webinar tonight. Are you at a start? You have that vision or that newly established business. Are you maintaining? Like, it's new to online marketing, trying to get used to it, or you're exploring. And I love this category too, exploring. You get to, maybe you're leaning into TikTok right now. Maybe that's LinkedIn. Maybe you're dealing with Pinterest as a retail business. Let us know where you are as well right here. Are you starting? Are you maintaining? Are you exploring? And again, if you're exploring, let us know some tips that helped you get established and helped you get some credibility online. And if you're maintaining, also let us know what you're doing to maintain. Those might be some hot tips too. This is all about dropping knowledge tonight. I love Reels, Laura, yes. Okay. This is great, yes. In the middle of rebranding, just got married. Yes, change your name. I understand that, Parker, yes. Even just trying to lift off a personal, like, branded TikTok page, I was like, I'm gonna have a content day, all this stuff. It catches up with you. So I'm gonna also be learning some things as well. So like Morgan said, feel free to drop some knowledge in there. We're learning too tonight. Okay. So like Alexia said, a lot of different varied stages and a lot of opportunity for growth and learning here tonight, which is what we're all about. So establishing brand basics. I'm going to turn it over to Alexia.
All right. So before I really get into some of the nitty gritty behind digital marketing and marketing our business online, we're going to take a step back and let's talk about some brand basics before we really get into it, because this is really what's going to drive and guide, oh, we're good right here, a lot of what you put together and how you think about your marketing and develop your marketing plan. So let's start with, well, what is a brand? And would you mind just advancing one? There we go. A brand is the way a company, organization, or individual is perceived by those who experience it. When people think of, a particular company or even a person, what are those things that come to mind? So take a look at the brands you have here on the right-hand side of this slide. You're probably pretty familiar with most of them, and each one has a very distinct message that they want to give you and tell you who they are. Like Kleenex, very different from Dior, for example. Now we go to the next one. Now, along with this, one of the ways that these brands distinguish themselves and set themselves apart from each other is their voice and their style. So let's take a moment and think about these 3 brands right here. And you're probably familiar with all 3 of these. So let's take a moment and why don't you drop for me, like, how would you describe Red Bull? It gives you wings, the energy sides of things. Okay. And what are some aggressive, powerful, energizing? Great. Okay. Now, what would you say is about the style of Red Bull? When you see some content and marketing created by Red Bull, what do you expect? What kind of voice do you expect to hear from them? Their tone. Okay, we see some extreme, high energy, fun, bold. Okay. Now, what about Dove? I'm gonna go for the last one in this bunch. When you think of Dove, what do you think of? What comes to mind? Soft, clean. And then when you think of Dove's voice, like when you think about Dove marketing, and if Dove were a person, like how would you describe Dove? Gentle, soothing, sweet, calm. Okay, seeing a lot of adjectives jumping up in the chat here. Now, let's step back a minute and imagine that Red Bull and Dove swapped voices for a moment. Can you see Red Bull speaking like Dove, or the other way around, Dove speaking like Red Bull? You know, Dove being that bold, high energy, extreme, exciting. Exactly. Because that's the way they've crafted their brand and their style and voice. And that's no wings with my skin. Yeah. And so with this, think about your company's brand, whether you've already built it, you're in the middle of rebuilding your brand, or starting and in the initial stages of it. What do you want your company's brand to be? How do you want it to be perceived and experienced by others? And think about that style and that voice. What kind of style and voice do you want your brand to have? All right, next. And so what we have here is put together a couple different mood boards where you've got one for that bold vision and that bold voice, where you've used a lot of bright colors, a lot of sharp angles, and a lot of fonts that are in your face. Contrast this a little bit here with this more playful board, where we've gone for lighter colors. The overall mood with it is a bit more fun and lofty. And then with our third one, we've got our elegant board here, where we've combined some visuals that are a little softer and just overall portraying this side of elegance, putting it together. Next. And so another thing to think about as you're putting together your brand and thinking about the palette and the voice, I also want to think about color. And we have different colors can mean different things. And so here we've got a few examples. So with blue, a lot of times when people think of blue, it's got that sense of tranquility, that calm, that peace. In contrast, this red, we've got the passion, the energy, the power, strength here. And one thing you want to keep in mind as you're thinking through your colors for your brand is not only do you want your colors to send a message and create that voice. So let's, think about that Red Bull. Imagine if the Red Bull voice and their colors were some of those more soft pastels that we saw in our playful palette. Not exactly the best match there, but as you're thinking through your colors for your brand, keep in mind the cultural connotations with colors. And however, whatever message it is that you want to send. So an example in US corporate culture, when you put something in red, it screams, pay attention here, alert, alert, alert. When something is green, it usually signifies everything's okay. Let's keep don't need too much attention here. Let's keep moving on. And so those are just some things to keep in mind, especially for those of you who may work across multiple cultures. Think about what the colors that you're using might mean within those particular cultures. All right. And so a couple other steps to think about as you're putting together your brand basics. It is very important that you are consistent in your name across all platforms. If somebody is visiting you on Instagram or your webpage or Facebook, having your name be consistent just makes things easier for everyone all around. And it also gets a little security in your customer's mind that they are in the right place and that they are visiting the business that they think they are visiting. Other thing is, again, when you're thinking about putting together your brand voice and your style, let's make sure that they are complementary to each other. Can't have Red Bull, who wants to put out that image of bold, energetic, extreme, speaking in the same voice and style as Dove, which is going for that more gentle, calm, and soothing sort of side. And then also when it comes to the imagery, keeping the logo simple or the profile image will help out as well. And just 2 additional things to keep in mind here. Your company brand, voice, and style is not the same as your personal voice and style. So as you're going and designing this and putting it together, just think about the kind of message that you want your company to put out. And while you might like something aesthetically or tone-wise personally, it might not necessarily be the best match for your business and what you want your business to communicate. All right.
Hey, Alexia, real quick,
Yes.
addressing a comment in the chat from Juan and Gail. If we have time to look at some logos, we might be able to, but we probably won't. That said, I think you guys have some opportunities for some like open hours with folks to get some feedback. So feel free to bring that to those sessions, bring your logo, get some thoughts. And then I also want to drop this resource in the chat, godaddy.com/studio. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Studio. It's kind of like a Canva there's a lot of other products out there that enable you to make graphics quickly. This is GoDaddy's product, but why I want to highlight this one is they actually have a quick and easy logo maker where you can have some awesome templates that give you different variety based off of brand, tone, and style. So if you're in that 1 to 2 area and you're just kind of getting started and you need a simple profile image and logo, then yeah, take a look at that. It's a quick and easy way to get started.
Another thing is as you put together stuff, don't be afraid to bounce things off of each other and reach out to one another and ask like, hey, you know, when you see this logo, like, what do you think? What comes to mind? What kind of voice do you think is coming out, and what is the message that you think this is portraying?
All right, I'm gonna take it from here and how to get set up on social media. So just like Alexia was saying, you want to make sure that your brand is consistent. Logos, colors, you want to make sure you have the right name, the right address, the right phone number. That's happened to me a couple of times where I've called a business and they're like, oh, we're no longer open. I'm like, oh no. I was like, I had my like food set on this. I was like, I'm gonna order food from here. This was like when I was back home. And I was kind of sad about it. I was like, now I have to think of something totally new. So it kind of ruined my dinner experience. It was already pretty late. So always make sure that your business is up to date, it's branded right, the logos are correct, and has all the same consistent information across the board. So you're probably thinking, all right, we know we need to be online. We have our social media pages, but why technically do we need to be online? And the simple reason is because if your customers, they're in the palm of your hand. They're literally on their cell phones all the time. I can attest to that. And the reason why I said that is because the average screen time is anywhere between 3.5 to 5 hours just on your social media sites, on your phone. So you definitely want to make sure that you are targeting the right people. You know your audience, you're getting engaged with them. But before they even step into your business, before they even make that order, you want to make sure you're where they are. And that doesn't have to be across every single social media platform. It can be 3 platforms, especially if you're just starting out. And maybe you have a handle on the major platforms to where you're like, oh, I have this down. I have a content calendar. I have a plan. Always make sure that you're online. That's why we market online, because that's where the people are. And we want to make sure that we're in the palm of their hands, whether that's on Yelp, Google, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We are where they are. And that's where we kind of do some learning from our customers. We figure out where they are. We learn how to talk to them, just like Lexia was saying, through that brand voice, building that brand trust too. So of course, you want to market online, but you also want to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Now, as of January 2022, When I did my research from Influencer Marketing Hub, there's 4.62 billion social media users. That's a lot of people, and that's worldwide. So we always want to make sure that we are focusing in on our neighborhood, people that are coming in to visit us if we're a tourist destination, really building up that community and cultivating it online just like you would in person. So with your social media sites, we're looking at Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We picked these three to go first, really, because these are the three main sites that you're going to find a lot of your customers on, whether that's Gen Z, whether that's millennials, and especially myself being a millennial, I just started like getting onto TikTok, and it is a totally different experience. And it is a great platform as well. Now, on average, people use 7.5 social media platforms per month. I can kind of attest to that. I kind of do and I kind of don't. I didn't have Facebook on my phone until maybe a month ago. So I usually use it on the desktop. So always making sure that you're looking at where your customers are. And just because the business across from you, the street, the highway right around the corner from you is on TikTok, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be on TikTok too. Study your audience, figure out where they are, and go to those sites. Don't copy someone just because you see them doing it. Making sure that you're testing things out and making sure that you're on the right social media platforms to engage with the right customers as well. And then we also have LinkedIn and Twitter statistics. I actually use LinkedIn a lot, not just professionally. Everybody's like, oh, you have a job. Yes, but I go on there to also connect with a lot of people. I used to work in fashion a long time ago. That's another story for another webinar. And so I was always on LinkedIn, connecting with people, agencies, PR firms, fashion houses, different things like that. So it's always a good place to be and to engage, and also to get some inspiration, possibly for your business as well, or to even link up with another business and maybe you collaborate on a charity that you're going to work with. And Twitter, we were talking about this actually the other day, Morgan and Alexia and I, is Twitter is a great hub if you use it right, more for corporations, bigger companies, for customer service. One of my friends had a problem with the flight, and they were like, hey, at Delta, this is happening. Or no, it was Alaskan Air. And they got back in touch with her, we're so sorry to see this happen. Check your DMs, we want to make sure. They had a full-on message with her. And that's how you're instilling that brand trust. And you're also instilling that trust in those customers online, just like you would in person if you had to deal with them at the ticket office or at your retail shop or at your massage therapy business. So always making sure that you're online, you're on the right sites, and you're engaging with the right people too. Yes, Sam, I love that you put this in here. Sam said, highly recommend replying to all your reviews. That is a great thing to do. Respond to all your reviews, but also get engaged in those comments too. That's where your customers are going to be like, oh, this isn't just a business. This is an actual person that's responding to me, having a real conversation with me. So optimizing your social media sites. I chose Antonelli's. It's local business here in Austin, Texas, one of my favorite cheese places to go. And they, during, I think it's cheese month or something, a free cheese every week. I was in line, I was at the cutoff, and I was I stood out there, I think, for a good hour and didn't get anything, but it was a good experience. Fix up your social storefront. This is your storefront. This is your open sign. You got to sweep your rug, you got to put out some nice flowers, the curb appeal. You got to make sure that people are seeing your business. And you're probably thinking, well, my business is online. Well, this is your storefront. Just like Alexia was saying, making sure those logos are consistent. You're looking at those brand colors. You're looking at also how you talk to your customers too. If you have a fun, energetic voice in person, you're not going to be monotone like this. So you definitely want to make sure you're optimizing those pages. You're filling them out with accurate info, updated addresses, updated hours too, especially during the holidays. Get ahead of that. And on most platforms, you can switch them for the time being. Maybe you're going to be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So go ahead and put that out there on your review sites, on your social media sites. So they're not waiting around and be like, oh, they're closed today, I can't go get my ham or something. I mean, you've got to be ahead of the game. I love this part too. Your social media sites is that little back door to your website. And you really want to make sure that your social media sites and your websites are working together. And we're going to go through that in just a little bit. if you want to also really connect with your customers, do not skip on the About Me section. The About Me section is where you tell your customers exactly who you are, your passion, your whys, the reasoning why you started your business. Do not skimp on that. Really make sure that you give it a lot of good flavor to it. Make it a little bit spicy, add that personality to that as well, and have photos ready to use. I'm constantly taking photos. One of my friends won tickets to go see Harry Styles last night, so I went. Don't even talk about it. It was great, but it was wild. But have photos ready. When I'm doing stuff for different projects, I keep folders with dates, projects, and also make sure that those photos are grouped in there as well. Have a system, have it on your desktop, have it in a drive, but have photos and constantly be taking photos, making sure you're taking seasonal photos, photos for maybe new menu items, behind the scenes, really making sure those photos show the real side of your business and that personable side as well. And now we're gonna go over how to cultivate your community.
Jeffrey, I think you're gonna have to show us some of those hairy photos from last night.
Oh my gosh, y'all, so I know a few of his songs, but he sang in One Direction song. I was like, oh my gosh.
This is it. Yeah.
It was so much fun. If you haven't listened to some of his music, I definitely suggest doing it if you're into that. But yeah, that's here nor there. I'm going to turn it over to Morgan.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to keep it going talking about how you continue to form ongoing relationships online with your customers. So I want you all to think about a party. Say you are invited to a party and you show up. And well, first of all, let's talk about the invitation. You have to be invited to the party first, right? I mean, there's a chance it could be a block party and you're just walking by. Most of the times you need like an actual invite to be able to show up. And this stretch of a metaphor, the block party is like a advertisement on social media. And what I'm talking about here, the actual invitation, is you as a human asking your people to follow you and your business online. So that can be really hard to do. But I want to encourage you to not just think of your business in person and your business online, but actually take opportunities where you're connecting with people in person or even within this group and ask them to follow you, share your handle, connect with what's going on at their business or what's important to them, and just form that first invitation. From there, once people are at your party, they've arrived, then you got to keep them engaged. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm at a party and the host is just talking about themselves over and over and over about their latest vacation or whatever, I mean, I'm suddenly going to have to go let my dog out that I don't even have. So with that in mind, you have to keep people engaged. And as a business owner, your tendency might be I need to just promote my product. This is what I'm here for. I need to market. But the reality is you need to engage with people and provide them with stuff that they want to connect on. So what that means is when you're thinking of what to post or how to present yourself online, it doesn't need to just be all buttoned up. It can be if that's how you want to present your brand, but you also want to think about what your audience is also interested in. So for example, if you are a business owner in Austin, Texas, located by where the Harry Styles show was last night, then you might benefit from posting about Harry Styles, and come get a drink, so you want to tap into what people are connected on around you, and leverage that. And then with that in mind, there also can be a lot of value in connecting with other local businesses. So for example, a yoga studio that I go to had a massage therapist come in and do a pop-up at the yoga studio one Saturday. Those are the kind of connections that can go a long way with cross-promoting your business. And you can form those relationships first online just by following and engaging with other businesses. So that's an awesome tactic to try out as well. And then we were having a side convo about this in the chat, but if you didn't miss it, if you have any reviews coming through, definitely respond to it, whether it's positive or negative. Your inclination for a negative review might be like wanting to, get a little angry, and you might get frustrated for the day and vent, and you can do all that. But when it comes to addressing it with that consumer online, recognize that it's like having an argument in public, and you want to be on the respectable end of that. And so even if they're super fired up and they had a poor experience, and you have all these reasons as to like at your defense, come in and just show that you're listening, that you're taking their feedback seriously, and that you kind of have a game plan for addressing it. Because really, you're trying to win back their business, but you're also trying to make sure you're building the trust and respect of future customers as well. So the next slide will show an example here. So let's talk about Furlough Cheesecake. So this is a duo of awesome ladies. They're a GoDaddy customer. And I want to highlight here, I don't know if you can see it, but essentially the first screenshot is their storefront, their invitation, it's them online. You see their logo, and it's actually an awesome logo because you think of furlough and it's like stamped, like you're furloughed. And then you think of cheesecake and it's like wonderful and nice and delightful, and they have a great combo of that within their logo, so you can already get a sense of who they are. But they essentially sent out a post a couple weeks ago, just giving some gratitude for their journey and also their appreciation for their customers. And number 3 here on the right side is some comments from some of their customers. So the first comment, "Are you open tomorrow?" This is low-hanging fruit. Like if you're not engaged with your social media this day, this person, might miss the trip in. So she's like, "Yes, we're open every day, Sunday through Saturday." Notice that they didn't just say, "Yes, we're open tomorrow," but they actually took that opportunity to provide additional detail for anyone else who might be tuning into their social. And it looks like they're coming in. The next comment, "Banana pudding and that sweet pea give me something to look forward to down Harbor." So this person's just hyping up their products, which is awesome. And they respond back kind of how you would if you were just like a friend, also saying like, "Yes, I love that food." So they're not like, "Come get some banana pudding tomorrow," but they're just like riffing off that person's energy. And as a result, Jane says, "I need to make a trip." So it's that kind of soft sale, but really it's just engaging with people at a human level. And sometimes when it comes to social media, I think we can have the tendency to like put on my business hat and be like, "I'm a business owner, let me talk about my products." So the main point here is try to like de-robotize yourself and just be yourself, engage with people, and it'll be an awesome way to make them feel valued and want to be a repeat customer. Okay, we'll keep it going from here. So we've talked about getting started and getting connected, inviting folks to your party. And now we're going to move into talking more about maintenance mode. So a lot of you have a lot of different stuff you're trying to do each day. You're trying to get your business off the ground or keep things running. And like we talked about at the beginning, finding time to engage on social and create content can be tough. So yeah, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. But what we want to talk about now is some tips and tricks for how you can try to activate this maintenance mode in a way that's consistent, doable, and doesn't stress you out. Okay, so take photos and gather assets like in one swoop. So if you have a business where you have a product that you can take photos of, that's awesome. That makes it super easy. Some businesses are going to be more like service area businesses. So for example, maybe you are a roofer or you have a roofing business and it's challenging to just like take photos of all of your jobs. That's great. What you can also do is take photos of things that have to do with people who might need a roof. So that might be just like a shingle, that might be using photos of like what makes a house a home, and you're talking about interior design and trying to get some this or that from your audience and see what they'll engage with. Like, think about your images not just being what you sell, but also the tangential things that kind of have to do with your business. Then set up a system for when you can do the work. So maybe you try out having a content day where once a month you jot down your ideas and you get some posts loaded up and schedule it out. Or maybe that doesn't work for you and you can't siphon off a full day, and you say, okay, what if I spend 10 minutes a day on this? I recommend experimenting with some things, try to see what works for you, learn from each other, and yeah, try not to make it like this big to do, but rather something where you can spend some dedicated time, so it doesn't hang out as this thing that you need to do that you haven't done yet. So from there, I recommend putting out a month of posts. So to start, try posting twice a week. That's a great place to start. Then you can move up to 3 times a week or even more consistently from there. But twice a week is a great way to stay consistent and engage your audience. And below what you'll see are some examples of angles that you can take to keep your content varied and keep folks engaged. So highlighting products and services, providing some educational knowledge, promoting something within your community, maybe another business or something going on within your community, a customer testimonial. Be mindful that you want to not edit their words, but use their testimonial as is. And then business and employee highlight. People love learning about folks. So share when you got started, how your business got started, maybe an employee highlight if there's multiple employees, or heck, just highlight yourself. And that might really help folks connect with you if they hear your story. So next slide is going to show some examples of this type of content in action. So these first two are business highlights. I'm going to read the second. We started off 50 years ago as a small shop and continue to grow globally every day. There's nothing we love more than spreading the warmth of aloha with our tasty plates. And you see some specific hashtags there. So we learned a little bit about the business. You can see their storefront there. And that's a great example of a business highlight. The second topic I want to talk about is educational posts. So this is for an HVAC employee or an HVAC company. They're just talking about how you know when it's time to change your air filter. So educational tip that provides people with some info when they come to your page. The next slide is going to show some examples of a product or service highlight. Notice that the content doesn't just have to be a photo. It can be a photo with some text over it, or it can be a plain background with some text on it. So if you're low on photos, this middle one is a great option where you can still get some information out about your business and what you offer, make it branded in a way that goes along with your brand, like Alexia talked about at the start. Tools like GoDaddy Studio are a great way to create a simple graphic. And it also creates some variety in the feed so that it's not just, but you also see some drips of the branding coming out from these graphics. And lastly, if you're in a spot where you can run a dealer special, this is a great way to promote something specific that you want to focus on for that season, and try to get some customers who are looking for a lower point to entry to your products and services. And then ideally they can be a repeat customer after that. Yeah, Alexia is dropping some sites with free photos in the chat. Pexels and Unsplashed are both awesome. And let's see, did we miss any other questions that came up? Or are we good to keep going? Good. Okay. So, like we talked about, setting aside the time and just doing it and kind of like getting over any fears about, is this content good enough, can be one of the hardest parts when it comes to promoting your business. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dust off the cobwebs and do a post right now, if you'll join me. So the goal here, or the ask here, is you can post this to your feed, or you can post it as a story. But what I want you to do is promote the fact that you are learning and engaging with other entrepreneurs through this BBB program, and communicate that in whatever way you want. Maybe it's a selfie like of yourself, just like, I'm learning, try to clearly I need to take some tips from someone else, as I can't think of any content right now, but you get the idea. Post a story, mention someone who brought you here, tag BBC or BBB Pacific Southwest, use the hashtag if you want. You can post it on your business social profile or personal account if you don't have a business account. And yeah, just go for it. So I'm gonna do it right now as well, because I don't want to make you guys do something that I'm not gonna do. So let's give it a second. I'm excited to see what y'all do with this. Scheming. I see some selfies going. I love it. Cynthia, you look great. A few people on the car, that might be tough. Drive, listen, post. So be careful out there. All right. We doing it? Okay. Okay, so while we're kind of finishing up this segment and before we hop into talking about digital ads, we would love to just open up the floor and see if y'all have any questions or thoughts you want to share before we move on. Gail, go for it.
Thank you so much for doing this. So, the question I have is in reference to this theme. You had mentioned, oh, well, if you want to, schedule it out or do it, what do you think of having like a theme day and having that consistent? Or is that putting like too much pressure on a person to do that? If that makes sense.
Do you mean like if you were to say like a theme day on your content? So like Throwback Thursday, and they can expect every Thursday they're going to get something related to that. Yeah, I would say with something like that, try it for a while. If you're excited about it, like if you have a theme in mind and you have something kind of cooked up that you want to use as an entry point for about a month, like try it weekly every Monday for a month, but you don't have to put pressure on yourself to do it for the end of time. So people aren't watching that much to be like, wait a second, they switched it up. Where's my educational Tuesday post? But if someone does say that, then it's like, oh, great, you're engaged, you're watching, we can bring some more of those back. So I would say experiment with it, especially if you have an idea, and creating kind of themed campaigns can be a way for you to make your ideas further. And you can get some more leverage out of your creative ideas. So great question. Kimberly.
Hey, I had a question about Reels on Instagram and Facebook. As far as I know, so like scheduling posts and stuff, I'm kind of familiar with, and I know there's like a lot of apps and things out there that you can use to do it. But as far as I know, you can't schedule reels ahead of time. And that has been what's killing me, because I've been really encouraged to do reels for growth, for account growth and just like the reach and stuff. And I'm curious if you guys have any tips, or if I'm missing anything that you can kind of schedule that stuff beforehand.
Yeah, I think Alex's tip in the chat is the best one I know now, but if anybody has any other tips, feel free to share. You can save them as drafts. I do think they have an expiration time, so I'm not sure how long you can save it as a draft. I want to say it's not as long as I would hope it would be. As long as you log out. Interesting. If you do log out, you can still save it as a draft. I think it only lasts for like 7 or 10 days or something like that. That could be something to try if you want to create a few. Another option could be well, I might have to get back with you on this, because I'm about to just say some random stuff if I don't
honestly
do some more research. But this is a really great question, and I'm glad you're bringing it up, because I know it's something that a lot of folks are struggling with. Like, if reels are what's going to get more attention, then how do I do that consistently? So we'll see if we can see what others have to say and get back to you guys with some more tips, hopefully. Thanks for your question, Kimberly.
I do know the logout thing. So if anybody, because I have tried doing that a couple times, if you accidentally get logged out, it will erase all your drafts. So I haven't figured out how to get back. So that's a thing, right? So
okay.
Thinking of figure out a way to back them up, or copy paste your text somewhere or something. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll get back with you guys on some more information there. I was about to throw out kind of a janky suggestion, which is do the record thing on your phone, where you can like play the reel, record it, save it as a video, and then re-upload that once you're ready to actually post the reel. I don't know if that does anything weird to the quality. You would obviously have to trim some things, but you know, that like record feature on an iPhone, I'm not sure if it's on all phones, that could be one route to try, but there's got to be some better options out there. So yeah, we'll get back to you. Okay, any other questions before we keep going? Let's see here.
So I'll read one.
So it looks like we've got, oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, go for it. I was just going to read some of the questions I'm seeing popped out here. So you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was just telling Morgan, it looks like we have a question around content syndication. Sophie is saying that she wants to repurpose some written content for YouTube. And she wants to know, what do you recommend in terms of a central place for creating content that's going out on multiple platforms? Her primary platform is LinkedIn, and she has to do the manual posting for everything.
Yeah, so I'm not as familiar with platforms where you can syndicate content to LinkedIn and the other key social platforms at the same time. I think LinkedIn is often kind of the one you have to post manually, and then the others you can syndicate through some different applications. We have an application with GoDaddy where you can post to Twitter, Google My Business, Facebook, and Instagram at the same time, but LinkedIn is left out of that. I think it's kind of similar for some of the other key syndication platforms. So yeah, my suggestion would be to just like get your stuff in a doc and then, you know, try to like manually schedule it out within those platforms. Unfortunately, I can't think of anything beyond that. I would love to open up the YouTube question, repurpose written content for YouTube, to anybody else to see if we have any subject matter experts on this for YouTube, or any ideas, creative ideas. I think educational content can be great for YouTube, right? Like we as users kind of go to YouTube for learning some stuff. So maybe you can think on what are some educational tips or things that have to do with your business that might be valuable in that space.
Maybe I also feel like sometimes it just depends, like for Furlough Cheesecake Sisters, for instance, they do a lot of behind the scenes on their YouTube channel. And they also do like a lot of the things that they've been on, like if they've been on a talk show, if they've like had a magazine shoot. So they do like a lot of behind the scenes. And at the same time, what I love about them as sisters, like Morgan was saying earlier, is their personality that you can see coming through in just their static photos. So if you have a chance to go to their YouTube page and look up Furlough Cheesecake Sisters, their YouTube page is hilarious because they're just funny. I think they were eating banana pudding cheesecake and they were dancing and singing with it. And you can, I wouldn't say put any type of thing on YouTube, but we're going to sing educational things. Maybe origin stories, if you will, if you have like a little bit of a longer one, maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and you did like an interview with someone. Definitely making sure that you're not posting that long a content format on YouTube, maybe looking at between like 2 and 5 minutes, just because you're thinking about their attention span as well.
Yeah, those are great angles, Jeffrey. There's a question from Juan about how many times a day to post on social media. I would say like start with a couple times a week, then move up to more after that if you have it in you. Once a day can be great if you want to try for consistency. But yeah, if you have more content to put out there multiple times a day, go for it. Otherwise, I would say, start with something that's doable and achievable, like a few times a week. Okay, buffer for LinkedIn. Thank you guys for sharing that. And
Yeah, thinking about the quantity of posting and all of that. I personally lean toward it's better to post less frequently and solid content rather than, I get 3 posts out today and they were mostly trash, or not the, I don't want to say the best quality, because one thing I also want to iterate is that we're constantly learning and experimenting, trying things out, seeing what works, what doesn't, and getting things out there. And so, if you find yourself just wrapped up with everything you've got going on with running your business and running your life so that, you really can't get out there multiple times a day, like that's okay. Earlier in this deck, Morgan was suggesting about 8 to 10, or not 10, 12 a month. Thinking posting there. And yeah, come on, jump on in. Juan, I see you.
Hi everyone. So my business is photography, and then sometimes, I sometimes do like series, or I go out of town and I make my photo series, and I want to post the best ones. But sometimes I find like I'm posting too much in a day, or I post like, and then I don't have like major engagement. So should I just post like the best 3 out of the photo shoot for that day, or should I just spread it to like you said, don't post like a ton of them every day, but maybe like 1 each day, or just start with the best 3 for that week?
If you don't mind,
like photography is kind of like, oh, I want to show everything, but like you say, maybe show the best content instead of the other ones that are not so good.
yeah, a few of my really good friends, they're photographers as well, and they'll do like sneak peeks of like photo shoots they've done. They won't do like the whole thing, and they'll be like, make sure you stay here, like stay tuned to this page to look at more of this series that I did, or this collection that I photographed. Especially for photography businesses, you're dealing with something, I would say, so personable, of like taking someone's pictures, like making their memories. So is also being a little bit authentic too on your side when it
Okay.
comes from you as a business owner. So maybe that's you doing an Instagram live or Facebook live talking about your business and some of the ways that you love photography and why you got started. There's tons of ways that you can make sure that you're posting quality, engaging content, and then building up that content with more of those photo shoots that you have later on. So don't give away, I
Okay.
would say, like the whole cake right away. You know, make people work for it a little bit. And
Okay.
yeah, always quality over quantity.
Thank you. I have one more question. And so the last time I talked to Misha, she kind of also gave me advice. But now that we have more people, I guess, you know, might be more advice, I guess. So my page, my Instagram page, which is the one that's the one I constantly post, is like my number one thing. My second would be Twitter, but I don't do much there. So I do a lot of my art stuff and includes me. So it's like self-portraits, and then I do a lot of self-art, but with me. So I've had people say, well, it seems like a little personal or too personal, but yeah, you post like your nature photography and maybe clients. So I feel like maybe people are confused. What should I do about that? And should I just literally just don't post any of me that might look too personal? I mean, I don't post anything like, oh, here's my food, like that personal, but it's my face.
Yeah, no, I love these types of posts. And the reason why I love a post that centers on the business owner is because not everyone is familiar with who you are. This is
Okay.
another chance to reintroduce yourself to your audience. Maybe some people just started following you. Maybe they were friends of friends. This is always a time to reintroduce yourself, position yourself as that, you know, that leader in photography in your area, and also in your areas of distinction as well.
Okay.
Or that's weddings, nature, personal clients, things like that. You want to make sure you're showing off your portfolio and making sure that your social media is connected to your website too, so they
Right.
can also see more of your portfolio.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I
Morgan.
just want to call out, there were some great comments in the chat too that were actually saying people want to see the person behind the lens and they want to hear from you. So not sure who those people are, like saying, don't post this personal stuff, but I think a lot of folks here are like, we want to hear from what it's like to experience what you experience, and maybe that's giving people a little insight into your inspiration or what it took to get the shot. Like, did you have to climb over something or bend over whatever, just giving some insight into
Right.
inspiration
Well,
behind it.
here's here's the kicker where I'm a little bit like, I never had any negative comments, honestly, but I do post a lot of artistic stuff that I do a lot of composing and some of self-portrait, but it is nude. So, I have, at this point, I haven't had any negative comment, but what does that tell to the customer that might be want me to, do you think it might drive the customer out if it's the customer to say, oh, he's also doing wedding photography or portrait photos?
That's a different thing. Like, you might want to consider seeing you have two separate businesses and brands you want to talk about. So like Sia was talking about branding at the start. What do you want to convey as a business might not be the same as how you present yourself as a person day to day. So think about those as probably two very different target audiences. Maybe there's some crossover, but probably for the most part, two different target audiences, and consider if you want to try out presenting it as such, like two different brands.
Okay.
You can cross promote, but yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So why don't we do just one more question for right now from Gail, and then we'll keep on moving. We still have a bunch more that we're super excited to share with you guys.
So I was along the line with Juan, and just in terms of posting about myself. So I'm not a social media person. I'm trying to be, and I'm working really hard at it. And I really want to do it because I know it's going to just drive my business to the other end. So I'm all in and I want to do it. So I'm starting to put myself out there little by little, other than just doing, you know, random posts about my business and things like that. But I noticed, like, my daughter got me to do a reel, and then it was just random. I think I was just like walking on a beach or something. And I posted it, and literally, like, I got 100, like, whatever they're called, not likes, but they were actually watching it literally in a couple minutes. And I'm like, what the heck? But I can't get anyone to engage in my post. So I really have to do more of those reels. But my question is, how do we then transition that into driving that towards the business page, or turning those into customers, and to make it productive?
Yeah, so some great questions about reels. I will say my experience just as an individual without a business, the first reel that I created got a lot of publicity too. And I was like, who are all these people that are seeing this? And so what's happening is Instagram is like trying to kind of make us bite and be like, let's create more real content. And we'll do that by having the user get more of a stage and a podium for their first reel. And so they might show your reel to more folks. The great news is, though, it sounds like they showed your reel to people and they chose to engage with it, which means that the more you create content like that, then the higher chance you'll have more people kind of like passing by your party that's happening, let's say. And it might be a slow trickle over time for that to actually lead to true customers and conversions in dollars. But it can be a great way to really open up the top of the funnel so that people then are on your page and can browse some of the other content you have where you're really promoting a certain product or service. Does that make sense, Gail? First of all, the second thing or last thing is, yeah, good for you for just trying some new stuff and bringing that energy. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, BBB, Pacific Southwest, you should have lots of tags and mentions. We'll see who did the
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam,
Awesome.
was posted. Okay, we can go ahead and move along. And if we didn't answer your questions, we'll make sure we try to pop back in the chat.
All right, unlocking new growth. Once you have your strategy down, you have your brand, your voice, you're engaging with your audience too, you want to look into how you can go a little bit further, how you can engage with maybe some people in the neighboring county, the city that's like a few miles over that maybe you get some tourists in from. You're like, I kind of want to capitalize on that as well. So we can get some different tactics here, but I really want to say this is, you have to also figure out which ads are right for you, and also figure out where to place these ads too. And I know my ads right now, when I get them, are all between my stories, because I spend a lot of my time on my stories, and they're actually placed really, really well. It's very scary, but it's amazing. So definitely making sure that you have a good place ad. Maybe you're boosting a post, gonna go the difference between that too. You also want to make sure that when you are able to boost a post, or you are able to set aside some dollars for an advertisement, making sure that it has that call to action too, just like we were talking about. Maybe it's subscribe to an email. Maybe it's to shop online at your business's store. Maybe it's to order products for your lawn care service. So really double checking that your ads have that call to action to drive them somewhere. Don't just put up an ad and be like, hope people see this ad. That's what we're going to talk about boosting a post for. But when you have an ad, you definitely want to make sure there's a specific reason for that ad. You know, we're not just spending dollars just to spend dollars. Unless you are, then let me know. No, I'm just kidding. But really making sure that you are, first of all, have a great organic strategy. So that's why we went through a lot of the posting and your brand. And like Morgan was going over the different types of posts that you want to post on social media. Remember that analogy about the party. Nobody wants to go to a hostess that's not the mostest. You know, they're talking about themselves, you know, their latest gadgets they just got in. You know, we want to be a part of that conversation. You don't want people just standing at the snack table. I mean, that's where I'll probably be. But you want people to engage. You want them to conversate. You want them to socialize. You want them to marinate and mix it up. So this is what you have to do in order to explore that new growth on social media. You know, you have to dip your toes in a little first. Maybe that's boosting a post. And usually when you boost a post, you want that to be an event, a special, maybe a sale. Have that call to action. But when you're boosting a post, this is just gonna be a great way to see like, okay, first have this great organic post, it got some great action. Now I kind of want to see what it would do if I boosted it a little bit. And I will say this, you don't have to break the bank to get a lot of reach. You can start with $5 for over 5 days, or like $20 over 5 days. You definitely want to start small, and you want to make sure that you're looking at your audience. You want to make sure that you're guiding them to that right spot. You can also do email subscriber sign up list. I'm all about signing up for an email list. There's sometimes that I'm like, when did I sign up for this? What is this? And so also make sure that you are looking at that too. Send an email announcing a new offer, event, or special. If it's something outside of those 3 things when I get an email, unless it's like from like bills or like stuff like that, or I'm ordering a package or something, I don't really want it. And your consumers, they subscribe to these email lists because they want those events, those special, those sales. It makes them feel like that really cool VIP. Especially think about this with the holidays coming up. You've got Black Friday, and especially all those sales that are going to go online. I remember, like, was it last year, I think? And let me know if anyone else noticed this, that Black Friday special started way earlier than they have in the past. I was like, is it Black Friday for 2 weeks? I was like, I didn't know that that existed. So really making sure that you're looking at new ways to unlock this growth. And like we said earlier, cross promote your business. So maybe that's you getting a great review on Yelp, putting that Yelp review on your Facebook page to spread that organic word of mouth as well. So email subscriber list. And like I said before, you have your social media sites and your website. You really want to make sure they're working together. And this is an excellent opportunity. I love what Antonelli's Cheese did right here. As you can see at the bottom, and they even have a pop-up too. So as soon as you're on their website, maybe like you're scrolling a little bit and it's like, bam, sign up for our newsletter. You know I did. I love keeping in touch with them, and I love their specials, and they always have the best cheese. And I usually go and get people Christmas gifts and stuff like that. So you can enter your email address, sign up for their newsletter, and you're gonna get first dibs on the latest offerings, which is true. Some people, like let's say you sell products online, maybe ceramics, and you send out a code earlier that day to your customers that have only signed up for your email list. That's what that special offering is. Yes, I am about the food. Yes, somebody please feed me. And yes, Linktree is great. If you're looking for something and you do have Websites Plus Marketing, you should all have access to this, especially in GoDaddy Studio. We have a link in bio to where you can actually do these things. It's like GoDaddy's version of Linktree. I use it personally for guiding people to my events, my webinars, different happenings, my LinkedIn page, stuff like that. So really making sure that not only you're checking out GoDaddy Studio for the photos, the brand, the logo, the colors, but also seeing how it can help you unlock that new growth, creating that link in bio, and making sure you're spreading that organic word of mouth as well. And again, this is from, and I know I'm talking about food again, don't be mad. See, so the Furlough Cheesecake Sisters, when you sign up for their email newsletter, you get 10% off your first purchase. Most businesses that do this, that's why I sign up for their email. I'm not gonna lie, I am that person. I will sign up for an email because you're giving me a discount or something special for my first purchase. I love things like that. I will buy a lot. I love free too. And when you're doing paid ads and boosting, so boost, it's gonna be quick, it's gonna be easy. And like I said, you can start with $5 boost and run it for 1 or 2 days. When you look at ads, you look at boosting posts, do not break the bank. Do not spend more than what you have to. And also, also at the same time, do your research. We're not just posting, this isn't pasta. We're not hoping it sticks to the wall. We really want to make sure that when we're boosting a post, it has meaning behind it. And yes, and also with ads. So you see this great example right here with My Secret Dollhouse. And they say, we have officially launched Shop Amazing and Stylish New Arrivals. Can you keep a secret? Things like this, whenever a store's about to open or a new bar or something, that insider look, and you can get in maybe like family night or something to that effect. This is great. It keeps you in the loop. It keeps you feel like you're VIP top of mind. But this is also another content post that you would also want to boost as well, a special, a giveaway, or an event. Now ads. Like I said, I love my ads. And sometimes some of them I'm like, where did this come from? Who is watching me? They're able to be more targeted with your goal. And when we're trying to unlock that new growth, sometimes we got to get a little bit uncomfortable. And that's doing a little bit more homework than what we thought we were going to have to. And this is why I love GoDaddy, and this is why I love doing what we do. When you look at your goals, you have your goals in mind already from your business. You also want to make sure that you're looking at your objective. Is this going to be for reach? Is this going to be to generate traffic to your social media sites, to your website? Is this going to be a lead gen? Are you looking to get more email list subscribers? I love this. It starts with spending $1 a day for a month. And you can do an ad for $1 a day a month and add details to target the right audience. I don't want us to go out here and be like, I'm just going to target everyone. And Alexia's going to go over that in just a little bit. You can't target everyone, or else your message is going to fall flat. Nobody wants, the generic, boring, broad message. I want to feel like I'm being talked to. I want them to be like, oh, Jeffrey, did you see this? We have this because we know that you shopped and got this X, Y, and Z. It may seem computerized, but I'm like, whoa, this is my style. Another way that you can also be a little bit more personalized, and what I love about this, and Alexia's going to go over this as well, when it comes to email subscriptions, when it comes to certain holidays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, those types of things, there's a company that I get my pots and pans from, Our Place, and they always send an email like, hey, we know that sometimes the holidays can be effective and different for everyone. They can give you an opt-out chance for some of their emails, just so like you don't have to go through that and look at those emails too. So when you're looking at your audience, you're looking at your ads and your boosted posts, think about your audience, think about what's going to be most effective for your consumers too. We're not just thinking about our business and our dollars, we're also thinking about our customers and their experience too. And so step one, you got to determine that ad objective. Awareness. Do you want to build brand awareness for your business? Do you want to generate more traffic? Do you want to get sales? Do you want to get more leads? Maybe that's an app promotion. Maybe you launched your own app. Or maybe you just want general engagement. Really making sure that when you're going into looking for an ad, the platforms make it easy for you. So that way you don't have to do a lot of thinking. And you definitely want to make sure that you're going into this. And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Alexia, but have fun with ads, but also making sure you do your homework as well. And if you have any questions, please put those in the chat box. While Alexia is going through that, I'm going to be dropping in some links about ads and which ads are right for your business too.
So I want to talk to you for a moment about the target audience. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to define your target audience. Take a step and just think through, okay, who is your ideal customer? Who is it that you really want to speak to? Now, I know it's really easy to say, oh, okay, well, the person I want to talk to is anybody who wants to buy my product or buy my services. Okay, but the thing with that though is, like I have like in this quote here, if you're trying to speak to everybody, you're going to end up talking to no one. So, when I was first learning about building audiences and targeting stuff, the example that somebody gave me was thinking about vacation packages and thinking through like, a Walt Disney resort vacation package. And if you wanted to go ahead and advertise that and think about like, who is it really that you want to target something like that to? And lots of different people all across could be interested in that Walt Disney World resort vacation. But ultimately, with that group, they decide, let's focus on families and target them. Because even though everyone can come and enjoy our parks and resorts, and it's a magical place for everybody, let's focus in on this particular audience and talk to them. And then thinking through the way you talk to a family and try to talk about to a family going on a vacation, a little different than the way you might speak to a group of single women going on a girls' trip. So something to think about as you're going ahead and defining that audience. And ultimately, the research is out there and there are tons of papers that back this up. Define that target audience, talk to them, and it ends up kind of being like bowling where you have that head pin and all the others, where just because you're talking to one specific audience doesn't mean that your message isn't applicable for others and ring true there. But you have to focus. Again, if you're talking to everybody, you're not speaking to anyone at all. So as you go and define your target audience, there's a few things to keep in mind and for you to think of, and go to the next one. And so what I have here is just a few different things to think about cultivating as you're thinking through. So demographics, in the example I gave with the Walt Disney World Resort, these are families with, let's say children between the ages of 5 and 15. Professional details that might be something relevant to you for whatever your business or product is. Psychographics. Psychographics are things like what are their interests, the attitudes, things that your target values. So, example, in another world, I used to work on a food business, and so it was all about food. And Jeffrey had, we first met about 3.5 years ago. One of the first questions I would have asked you is, so how do you like your coffee? Question I used to ask people a lot. And I had one of my target audiences for one of my products was, I used to work on like almond milk creamer. And some of the attitude and psychographics I built for that target is, I am looking for the woman who is trying to adopt healthier lifestyles and behaviors toward her food. She loves the creamer in her coffee, giving it a bit of that sweetness and the creaminess, lightening it up. But she doesn't want the ton of sugar that might come with traditional creamers, because outside of this, she's also, going deep on the veggies and steam and, roasting her vegetables and just overall a healthy kind of lifestyle. Goals, challenges, again, some of this is also just really thinking it through and getting to know your target audience so that you can best talk to them. Same with the buying process. With that, thinking about where is your target and where are you meeting them in relation to your business. Fun fact from back when I lived in the food world and in groceries, a lot of the targets and marketing was very much geared toward women because things have been changing so with the millennial generation. But the primary grocery shopper, that person who was making the decision as to, okay, what groceries I'm going to buy for the house, were usually women. They were the ones doing that. And so that was also part of how I defined my audience back then, was who's the one who's in charge and whose opinion actually matters? Who's the one going to make the purchase and buy my product? So all things to keep in mind, and you might not have all of those, but some things to keep in mind as you are thinking about that target audience of yours and who specifically it is you want to talk to.
Okay, so we're gonna break down a few more inputs for actually doing an ad on Facebook and Instagram, to be specific. So before we do that, I would love to see in the chat, give me a yes if you've tried doing an ad before, or not yet if you haven't. I just want to see where we're at with this. Okay, so we've had a boost. Awesome, sort of, not yet. All right. Okay, so share what your experience has been like so far with ads, because it seems like a lot of you have created ads. So I want to be mindful of your time and make sure we're spending it on the right stuff. Any challenges that you've hit with creating ads, or anything you want to share that's worked really well? Okay. Costs a lot, can be expensive. Yeah, it can kind of get out of control. That's okay. More followers, less conversions. Okay. Okay, so just real quick to recap on a little bit of what Jeffrey was talking about before, because it seems like there's still some questions. A boost is like if you take a regular post you create and you put some money behind it. Boosting posts is great for anything that's maybe has less of a shelf life. So for example, yeah, it's like, let me boost the fact that we have a promotion coming up this Saturday. I'm going to post it on Thursday. I'll give it a boost for, let's say, $10, $5, and run it for the next couple of days. And I can select whether I want to just have it go to my followers or whether I want it to also go to new people, depending on what you're trying to target. So boost is it's a great gateway into paid media if you haven't tried creating an actual ad yet. You just kind of throw some money behind what you've already created. And I recommend starting small and seeing what that gets you, rather than, trying to spend a ton of dollars on it. Then the next tier is creating an actual advertisement on Facebook and Instagram. And that's what we're going to get into now. So we talked about establishing, let's keep it on this page for a second. So establishing your objective first and foremost. If you're a new business and you want to talk to new people, then an awareness objective is a great spot to start. Awareness objective. If you have a site and you're trying to drive traffic to that site and get people to purchase something from your site, maybe sign up for a class on your site, maybe put their email in so you can boost your email subscriber list on your site, then a traffic ad is where it's at. So awareness and traffic are like awareness first, traffic second. You can maybe then graduate to something like leads if you want to ask for actual information from people, and the other ads down the line. Then you move into location targeting. So if you're a brick and mortar business, then you have an awesome opportunity to basically like advertise to people who are around you. So you can plug in your zip code, you can plug in your actual location, and then say, just search for people within a certain radius. Start small, maybe 10 miles if you need to expand, it depends where you're at. Like if you're in a metroplex, you might want to start a little bit smaller, but if you're in a smaller town, then maybe you can go wider with the radius. If you're an online only business and most of your transactions are done online, then the location thing might not be as necessary for you. And you might want to optimize your audience by really digging into some of the demographic stuff, as well as the detailed targeting. So detailed targeting, you can literally plug in. So Alexia was talking about the coffee and the creamer and wanting to market to like aspiring healthy women. Then you can plug in veggies like as a detailed targeting topic and build your audience around kind of some buzzwords that come to mind with what your audience might be interested in. Note that there are some industries where you're a little bit restricted on audience targeting based off of laws. So a lot of like real estate agents and employment opportunities, like anything related to employment and housing, you can't be as targeted because you want to ensure that you're providing like equal opportunity to everyone. So just a note there. So once you lock down your target audience, the next step is you want to put in your budget. Just to reiterate, $1 a day is a great place to start for a month. Then maybe you can consider going to $50 a month. Eventually, once you get the hang of it, you can see what happens with a bigger budget. But I would actually encourage you to play with your content and your creative first, like doing a quick video versus doing a static image, changing up your language and your call to action before you just abandon your ad and say, oh, the only thing that'll work is if I put more dollars behind it. So more money is just going to actually get you, like, it's not going to make your ad more effective. It just means you will have the potential to reach some more people, but your cost for your ad might stay the same unless you switch up your creative. So switching up your creative is a great way to experiment and really try to see if you can get some better results out of your ad. So once you set your budget, and you want to, just one quick tip, when you go to this page, if you're on it in Facebook, it's actually going to have preloaded in $20 a day as your daily budget. Don't like interpret that as that's how much you need to spend. You can absolutely change that budget. So anyway, just wanted to note that. Okay, so from here is when you will start putting your ad together. And this is what the interface actually looks like in Facebook. So you can see a screenshot of that. You'll notice that it starts with media, then goes to your primary text, headline, description, and your call to action. From my perspective, starting with the call to action and the actual like step you want your potential consumer to take, that's going to be like the foundation of your ad. So you want that to make sense. You don't want to be like, we always work to provide a wonderful ambiance, sign up for a class now, or like see our menu. Like you want the action to connect to what you're talking about and what the image is. And the action is what's going to lead to conversion. So example of call to action is sign up, learn more, see menu. What else? There's more than that. But basically, like if you have a site where you're trying to route people to do something specific, like sign up or shop now or order now, go with that. If you don't have something where people can take an actual action on your site that leads to dollars or subscriptions, then you can do something like learn more or get directions if you're a brick and mortar. But center your ad around your call to action. From there, you can determine your media. So media being either photo or video. What's interesting is video ads work well because they grab people's attention. And even in looking at some of our own data, what we found is the ads that aren't as done up, like that don't strike you like an ad, actually perform better. So save some of your high quality video and images for some of your posts. And for an ad, not saying you have to like put up trash, but it can be a little like rougher around the edges, or really just make it look like something your friend would post that's not like super doctored up, because we as people know how to spot an ad and we'll just keep it moving and keep scrolling. So the main thing is you're trying to catch people's attention and deliver them with something that they think they'll want to engage with. So video, not as like doctored up, can be a great option. Actual images are great options as well. Using a specific image rather than a stock image is going to be preferred. Use something that's like, if you can, use a unique photo to you. You can also play around with doing some collages and adding some graphics if you want, but definitely not necessary to create an effective ad. From there, that's when you start filling in your text, your headline, your description. Facebook will give you some starter text, some guidance on what should go in which area. Your primary text is going to be what's the caption, and then your headline and description are going to be like supporting text to the overall idea. So headline is actually what will grab people's attention. It's going to be the biggest font on the ad, the largest. And so you want to make sure that that says something compelling. And usually it can be something fun. It doesn't have to be like, get new shoes. It can be like a little punchy and playful. So it doesn't have to be just like a title or something. So those are just some tips on creating the actual ad. The next slide shows you a few examples of an ad put together. So I'm not going to read it. You can see that but I'll just show a few main points. So the CTAs are learn more and shop now. The media is just an image, but it's customer specific. And then the primary text is that text up top. The headline is that bold text, so cozy up around a fire, adaptable and accessible phonics. And then the description is that, like, take a look at our hot deals, join our online course today. So those are the basics of creating an ad. From here, the next thing you'll want to do is take a look at your results. This is a pretty extensive slide we have here, folks. The secret sauce to figuring out your results. No, the reality is Facebook and Instagram have amazing platforms for looking at your analytics. The main thing you want to look for in your ad is the amount per spend on your ad. That's also called or referred to as cost per click or cost per reach or cost per lead. That's going to tell you how many dollars am I spending from my overall budget to get that click or to get that conversion or lead. And that's your true metric that you want to watch to see how that's doing over time. Then you can drill in to the actual Facebook analytics in a number of ways to identify who's engaging with your ad. So Facebook makes it pretty intuitive for you to like click on your ad set, see the results, and drill down into audience. And you can look and see, okay, it'll say ages 18 to 25 are engaging. And maybe you're trying to target an audience that's more like 50 and up. Then you might want to reconsider, oh, did I not set my age demographics? Maybe I need to set that for this next ad. And then that'll ensure that it gets in front of the right people. Or if you're like, oh, wow, there might actually be an audience or a market here for this age group or demographic that I didn't consider, that can give you some great ideas for how to continue to market to that demographic in the future. So I'm not going to go into the actual platform, but I will share, Jeffrey already shared a resource that we have for GoDaddy on ads. And then I'm also going to pop this one in the chat. It's got great starter links down at the bottom, everything from creating a brand new ad to getting real-time insights and looking at your results. And rather than try to reinvent the wheel, I'll just share directly what Facebook recommends because it's pretty great stuff as I was looking through it just a little bit ago. So I'll pause there because I've been talking too much. What other thoughts or questions?
So relating to keywords, question have in the chat, just reading it. If I mention veggies and a vegan doesn't have the word veggies in their profile, am I going to end up losing them?
Okay, so this can get a little bit nuanced. I'm pretty sure. So at the end of the day, Facebook and Instagram want and really any platform want your ads to perform well because they want you to keep investing and spending money with marketing with those platforms. So they're incentivized as businesses to figure out how to make your ads perform well. So that means they can do things like, okay, maybe that person doesn't follow or doesn't have like veggies as an interest in their profile, but maybe they follow a group or they have some other interest that's like associated with vegetables. This is a weird example, but movies, there's something like that might be a little bit easier. Sports, like it doesn't need to say sports. It could be that they follow, you know, the Chicago Bulls or something, and they're collecting that kind of information and using that to influence the targeting. So doesn't have to just be like veggies listed in the profile. They get pretty sneaky and creative with it. You can also graduate into creating lookalike audiences, or creating audiences based off of info that you already have about your customers. So that link, I'm not going to go into all those details here because we only have 10 minutes left, but that link I shared in the chat, if you click on the audience widget, it'll show you 3 types of different audiences you can create. We went through the basic stuff. There are 2 other ones that are kind of like a next level. And if you are ready for that, you can definitely look into creating a lookalike audience, which will create your ad to be a bit more targeted based off people's interests. Great tip to target the foodies group. Veggies and sports. You widen it if you put veggies and sports. So yeah, if you put different keywords, it's going to go based off just those keywords, not necessarily like filtering it down into veggie sports fanatics. Okay, from Gail, what are some creative keywords to use to get people to opt in other than sign in? Are you saying like opt in for an email subscription, or what kind of opt in are you thinking? Feel free to come off mute if you want.
That's correct. I recall when we did the website development with the other gentleman, I believe it was Stewart, it mentioned to use other words. I believe he said, don't use sign in. No one wants to sign in, but use other words. So I was just wondering, what are some other words that we can use if they're, you know, joining your email list or signing up for, in my case, to get a free chat, you know, of my book and that kind of thing. What are some other?
It might be like stay up to date or connect with us, using words like you would with your friends and family if you're just talking to them, like stay in the know, stay up to date, stay connected, join us, love join us. That's quick and easy. Join the party, keep the party analogy going. Yeah, great question, Gail. Yeah, don't miss out on the latest. Michelle, you have so many great tips just throughout. I just want to call you out directly. Thank you for sharing all of your different angles.
All right. And we've got a hand.
Yes, Ben Soley. You've got the mic.
Hey, so my clientele for the most part is above the age of 60. I have one client, he's, I don't know, almost 50. They're not really on social media. I know one of my clients got my name through social media, through their kids. What's the best advice you can give someone to me? 10 clients a year is a lot for me. I build custom homes, do garages, casitas, large scale projects. So, trying to get one customer a day is way too much for me. Trying to get 10 a year is more my speed, but a lot of them are above the age of social media. How can I cater to their kids that actually give them that advice?
Wow, this is a great question. Alexia, do you want to share like what you had kind of, I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I feel like what we were talking about earlier today about who you're marketing to might not be the same people as who the product is for. And that's an interesting angle that I bet others are facing too.
Yeah, so if I understand it, and this is, correct me here, going to repeat a little for comprehension check. Most of your clients are age 60 plus, and so they're not really into the social media game, but their kids are. And you know, the kids are probably like, you know, 20s and 30s. And so you're thinking through, all right, then how do I get the 20 and 30-year-olds to inform their parents, their 60-year-old parents, about my services?
Correct. I'd say their kids are a little more like 30s and 40s.
I was trying to be a little conservative there, but with that estimate, that was originally what I was thinking. Yeah, and so that goes exactly to going back to that target audience and thinking through who it is that you are speaking to. So when you're thinking about your content and developing ads, and thinking about how you're passing along, there's somebody to speak to there, is speaking to that 30, 40-year-old who's looking out for their parent. You know, an example, you know, from fun CPG world, and this one is a classic marketing example, is going back to my friends at Old Spice. So when you think about Old Spice ads in their commercials, very much like, you know, the smell like a man and the guy on the horse and whatnot, who are they really talking to with that? Are they talking to the men who are using their product, or are they talking to the women who are going to purchase the products for the men or boys, whoever, in their lives? So that might be a way to think about it. There is, think about who really is it that you're talking to, and develop your messaging around that. So think through, how do I talk to a 35-year-old and give them the information that they need for them to tell their parents, so that they'll see this and be like, oh, hey, mom and dad could probably use XYZ. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you could even
That makes
consider like
perfect sense.
addressing it to those folks. Like you could call them out as like mom and dad need us like wanting a spruce up in the backyard or something. Like pass them this hot tip. It's getting late over here, Ben. So sorry, this is kind of
That's
weird.
something that I would click on though, Morgan. I'd be like, yes,
Yeah.
like this needs to happen.
Yeah,
So you're
like,
not wrong.
yeah.
Need backyard a little
Like-
more friendly for that Thanksgiving get together at the house,
Yes.
like, you know.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
appreciate
so
it.
thanks for that question. We have just a few minutes left, so we'll go ahead and get into what's next. We've got a resource to share with you guys, and want to make sure we wrap up with some commitments and some action items for where you take it from here. So with that, I'm going to share a PDF in the chat. Let's see if this works. And we'll also get it over to Demisha and Sam. Oh, not that did not work. Let's see here. Jeffrey, if you want to go ahead and kill some time and show them what we're going to be asking for commitment wise, I'll pull up the actual resource.
Yeah. So we also want to know, let us know in the chat right now. This has been like a really engaged session. Like y'all are on fire. I love this. It's making me excited about work, telling everyone like what we all covered here. What's one thing you'll do this week for your online presence? While Morgan's getting that ready, I want us to answer this question in the chat box. What's one thing you're going to do this week, maybe even tonight, for your online presence? Let us know in the chat box. Oh yeah, finished my website right off the gate, boom. Reels with captions. I love reels with captions. I'm that person. Love it one. He's like, organize my post for the week, content calendar, rebrand my website, start a content calendar, go live on TikTok, build that GoDaddy website. Yes. You promote seasonal products. It's the time. I do love my seasonal products.
And remember, with the websites and the posts, you can keep iterating on them as you figure out what works and what doesn't. It's okay.
And that's a fun way to look at it, because you get to experiment with like different ways that you're going to do that, especially when it comes to the holiday season, because you don't want to promote. You want it to be about the experience. And I'm all about an experience recently. So if somebody posts about a book and somebody's reading it in front of a big window, I'm probably going to go buy that book. So help your customers visualize themselves in that situation this holiday season too. I love all of these. Y'all are awesome.
Okay, got the resource ready. So I just put it in the chat. Go ahead and hit download on this action plan. It's basically just a way to structure some next steps. So we talked a lot about a lot of stuff here. You all just committed to the thing you'll do this week. This checklist can also help you focus on what you want to do after this for this month, and so forth. So if you said you were in the start bucket, look at the start stuff. If you said you're in the maintain group, look at the maintain stuff, and explore. Look at the explore options. And with that, yeah, Sam, do you want to pop on and give any last instructions?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much. Let's give these presenters a huge round of applause and an amazing thank you. You are fantastic. This presentation was next level. So I appreciate it. I always love having you on the call. All of you are just amazing. So thank you once again. I haven't seen a cohort this engaged in a while. So thank you to the cohort too for showing up for yourself, showing up for your business, being present, learning, and taking in this content and implementing it into your business. It's super important. So I appreciate all of you so much. I did drop a link in the cohort or in the chat. Sorry, it is late. I dropped a link in the chat, you guys. So we have our in-person networking event, speed networking event, October 14th. It's a Friday from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. It is going to be we're going to be having a lot of fun activities, but I absolutely need a head count. So if you plan on attending, you have to fill out the RSVP form for me, please, please, please. And I will be out until next Thursday. I will see you all then. We have Marissa Friedman on deck doing a continuation of what you have learned tonight. She is going to put you in the hot seat and have you actually work on your content on some of those videos and reels in a workshop on Thursday night. So please make sure you show up for that. It'll be a wonderful synergistic workshop after this presentation. So definitely make sure you show up and put all of this into action. So thank you so much, everyone. We will not be staying on late tonight. You can reach out to Alex or Misha or Empower at bbbcommunity.org. All right. Thank you once again.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you. GoDaddy never disappoints.